Okay, so I'm just going to quickly show you guys what we talked about last tutorial and then start with an example of what probably you guys will look at for this project. I started drawing something in SketchUp and produced 2D drawings and a 3D model that matched to them V12 for you guys to download. So get those while we're starting, and then we have some step-by-step work that we're going to do here in the class. So you open the Revit, it looks like this, and if you want to do this while I'm doing it with me, that would be great. And have any questions, just ask me. Feel free to stop me anytime. So you have this open, you click on new, it will ask you for template. So just to make sure that you're metric, imperial, what kind of environment you're working in, you usually want to be in architectural template, but the problem with that is it's usually in imperial, so feet and inches, which we don't usually use. We usually use metric system. So we go to browse. It usually just opens this directory for you, which is for Canada, and you can see default metric there and a bunch of other defaults and structural and architectural templates that you can open. So I'm going to select default metric, say open, and just create a new file for me, like this. I think so. Yes, I am. All right, so this is my new project and how it looks like. So I'm just going to quickly show you guys where to find things, and then we're going to get started with building our project. So at the top here, as I said last time, we have several different tabs, and each of them comes with a ribbon of different functions that we can use. The ones that we're going to use mainly are architecture, where you can basically draw your stuff and edit them. You don't usually use structure system, but you will use insert, where you will bring in your drawings or 3D models and go through those. We're going to see some of those today. You have annotation, which I think that Steven is going to cover in the next tutorial, so how to do dimensions and all sort of detailing. We have analysis, which we don't usually use, but it's very cool software tool to know about. We have mapping. We're gonna talk about that a little bit today too. It's good to bring in some mapping and do some geometry work here in Revit. And then we have manage, where you can basically manage your links, your materials, your units, and everything that you have in your Revit environment. And then down here you have the properties window, where anything that is selected or anything you want to start drawing, you will see the details. You can control them, and each of them has a lot of different settings that you can play with. Up here you have a selection menu, where you can select different types and different families or different styles of things you're drawing or you have selected. Down here you have your project browser, where you can access your different plans, elevations, sections, 3D views, and all those. And here is your main view. So what we're going to do right now, so you all should have your Revit open with a new project open on it if you're following. And then you can go to insert and then start linking a CAD file or importing the CAD file. I'm pretty sure you guys know the differences, but just to quickly touch on that, if you link a CAD file, you will always read the reference that is linked into it. So if you sometimes after this go and change your CAD file, it will be reflected in your model. So let's say right now in the project that I'm working on right now at the office, we have a landscape drawing which we match with our site plan. I have linked that in, so anytime the landscape architect updates the drawing, which is a 2D CAD file, it will update into my Revit model. For this example, I'm going to link a CAD file into my project. So here, linking in, I have saved my file in desktop, which is a bad habit, but I've done for this example. Here is the plan, which you all should be able to download from V12, which from your traces I'm guessing you have not, so you are not. Okay. So here you can see I'm in level 1, and I'm inserting my CAD drawing. So this is what I have. So what basically is in my CAD is my ground floor here, my second floor. This is kind of a 3D object which I've just bring in a 2D drawing up, and it's pretty much useless for me. But I just have this in the set. So we have it here. something that is annoying that we talked about last time is like you have some things in your scene that you might not want to see. Like here, this is where it shows we have an elevation there, or you might have some, I don't know, guidelines or section lines or something you don't want to see. So as any other software would do, we can just hide these. So we select them, go right click, hiding view, and we say category. So anything that is in the elevation view category will be hidden in this specific view that I am in right now. So I will hide that. Now again, I'm in level 1, have my link, CAD link in, and we'll start drawing the wall. For those of you that is following, are you guys with me, right? Are you behind me? Okay, good. All right, so I've selected my wall, and I'm going to draw my exterior walls here around this corner. So that is my entrance door. These are a bunch of windows. I've got a platform that is a little bit lower than my main living area. I'm gonna start drawing. So I know my exterior wall is 300 millimeters wide. So I will open this menu here. If I want to go with this generic 300, I can just select this and go with it. But let's say I don't have that, or maybe I have something else that is not exactly what I want. Let's say I've got a generic 200 millimeters and I want to use that, but it needs to be 300. So I will select this. I will go edit type. So any type that you're editing in Revit, it's good to have a duplicate of it so that you're not messing with the original type that was defined by default in your program, if that's anything you care about in this specific project. So here I will go duplicate, and I give it a name that defines it for me. I'll say exterior wall, and it's 300. It's not 2. Okay, there. So I renamed it, but renaming it doesn't mean that it has changed any of the specifications. So down here, it shows what is the material, what is the color that is going to show on the plan, what is the width, what is the function, and all those information that you can change for this type. But for some reason, the width is grayed out. And the reason is there's a structure defined for any of the walls. This is a generic wall, so it just has its thickness. But it was an actual wall, you could define what is the material on the outside, what is the installation, does it have studs, what is the interior, all that. So click on the edit here, and then you'll see the structure. So it's basically just one line here that says the thickness of the wall. As I said, you could have a lot more. So I'm changing that to 300. Press OK. Now I should have a wall that is actually 300. This is the name I defined and all the specifications that I talked about. All with me? Okay. All right. Now I'm going to draw. So anything that you want to draw will give you this green bar here that has the details of what you're drawing. So this talks about the height, the constraints. Is it a chain wall? It means that you just draw one wall or a chain of walls. Is it offset from anything? So you want to make sure that these are what you want first, and then start working from it. So what is my location line? The line that I draw, I want it to be the exterior, finish face exterior. I want my walls to start from level 1 and go to level 2. We will go back and define the levels after this step. So for now, I've got a wall that is 300 millimeters wide and goes from level 1 to level 2, and the lines are defining the finished exterior wall. I start drawing from here. All right. There we go. This doesn't like me. Okay. So I'm just drawing a few of these walls so that we can start talking about different things in this project. So this is, so I'm just using my scroll and pan and scroll click to navigate in this. So what I'm doing right now is basically just drawing walls using this one. So other things that you could do is from here you can draw a rectangle or anything else, but you could also select lines from an existing drawing. So next thing I'm going to do is that. So I'm going to select this line and then pick that. There. Pick there. There. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to pick this line. See that dashed line that defines where is the direction, and I can change it with, if I click on tab, I can go wider. And then this is like a trim and extend, which is similar to select in AutoCAD. So I'll just select these and make a full round of walls. So now I should have a full round of walls around my floor plan. Is it all clear? Everybody here? Anybody falling behind? Are you following at all? Okay, everybody's nodding with whatever I'm saying. Good. Okay, so now I cannot see the details that was behind my wall, so the way to fix that is to go here to my visual style and change that to wireframe. So now I have my wall, but it's in a wireframe mode and I can see it. The problem is my drawing is in black and my line is in black, so it's kind of confusing. I don't know what I've drawn or what I've not. I will select my drawing, I will go to override graphics in view. I click on that, override by element, and then here I'll change the color. So once again, I have my drawing selected. There's this brush icon here, which is override graphics. I click on it. It says override by element. And then under projection line, I can change my color to, let's say, I don't know, that. So now this color is different from the wall black color. One more thing that you could do is turn on your thicknesses under your view tab, which should actually turn on the thicknesses of your wall, which is not doing right now for some reason. But that will be confusing if you're doing a lot of details and corners. So usually it's recommended to have this thickness lines off while you're drawing stuff. Okay, anyway, so we have the walls on the first level. Now we're gonna go and define what our levels are. So as we talked about last tutorial, we go to an elevation view, let's say east. You can see that we have level 1, we have level 2. So back to level 1. So we have this area, which is our entrance. So this is level 1. We have a half level here, which is, let's say, 600 millimeters or something above the first. And then we have a second floor, which is, let's say, 3 meters above that. And this is 4 meter high for itself. So I'm going to define all those numbers in my elevation. So here I've got level 1, and I've got level 2, which is 4 meters above. I wanted this to be 3 meters. So I'll just change that number to 3. Done. So level 1, level 2. I need to add one level. So to add a level, you could be in architecture and just add a level, but you could also copy the stuff you have here. So I'm gonna select this. So my mouse is here, it's selecting the wall. So I'm pressing tab so that it selects the level. Like that. I'm gonna copy here. You can click on that, or you can type CO, and then you can copy there like that. You will type in the number you want, so 600. There, you got a second level. I'm gonna rename it to half level, and there we go. The reason these numbers are kind of messed up because it's showing it as a 1 to 100. So if we change the scale, the text will be justified based on the scale that we're selecting. So I'll give it to 1 to 2, 6, 25, so it's more clear. And then the height of my second floor is 4 meters. So I select that, CO, go up, 4 meters, enter, done. So I've got all my levels defined. So level 1, half level, level 2, and this could be called roof or anything like that. Okay, any questions so far? Yeah, so if you want to move something, you just have it selected, you do CO and copy, or you can move it by just dragging it, which is not very professional. But you could also have it selected and select and move, or do MD, and it will give you all the snaps, and it's pretty much similar to Rhino or the AutoCAD, and you can just move it, give it a distance number, and you can move it around. Any other questions? Okay. So here now I'm going to define a floor for this entry piece, kind of start from there. So architecture tab, this ribbon, it has floor. Click on it. I can draw it, or again, I can select some lines, which is easier. So I will select these, that, that. So something that might work better sometimes and is faster is using tabs to get better ideas of what you can select. So you have your mouse over it and you click tab to see what it will give you. So it will go from exterior to center or around an object and give you different options of selections. Let's say you wanted to draw a line all the way around your balls and you don't want to do it one by one, so you will just click tab and it will give it to you. So be aware that you're always, whenever you're spending too much time doing something, probably there's a faster way of doing it. Okay, anyway, I'm just going to select them like that now because it's not a piece of thing. So that's that, and then the trim, I'm going to match them. That, and take that line over there, match it with that, there, and then the line. Now I've got a closed line. If it was not closed, it would give me a warning and say, hey, it's not closed. And then you could do continuous sketching and you could also do show. So let me just delete one of these lines and see how would that work. So let's say that I assume this is my floor and I want to close it. It says, hey, you cannot do that. I will say show. It will show me where the open edge is or where the open gap is. So I will continue sketching and I will draw that line however I want to do it. I'll close it. Then I would say create the floor and it will do it once. So while I was drawing this floor, it has asked me which level this floor belongs to. So I select this again. Here it says it's the level 1 floor. It is the offset. These are the details of this that the object that I'm drawing. So same thing that we did for the wall, we could do for a floor or a roof or a window or a door. Next thing, I'm going to put in a door here, and again, go through the details of defining properties for a door. So I'll select the door, and I will look at what I have by default. So usually when you install Revit, it will give you a bunch of different components and families that you can just use uh, by loading the family in. So a family, as I said last time, is a group of geometries or defined objects that have the same properties but can change in different variables. I know it's confusing, but you'll get to know it better. Okay, I'll load a family, and by default, it will open the right directory for me. So in program data, libraries, Canada, it will show me what I can use by just using Revit default. But any manufacturer out there these days is producing Revit families that you can just go to the website and download and use in your project. Let's say, I don't know, there's a specific door you want to buy and you don't try that on your plan. It's easy to go on the website and download the file. Okay, doors here, double door, it could be anything you want. I'll just do double glass, open, okay. It will load it here for me. Now I can select this. If the size is not working for me, I can change it, but for now I'm just going to put it in like that. So if you want to edit this type, you go edit. Again, you will duplicate it, say my specific door, and then you want to define what is the width, what is the height. Maybe it's, I don't know, it's 400 and it's 1600 or something. You can change the material and how it looks and everything. You say okay, it will be applied. Now when you open this, you will have two different types of doors. So M door double glass has one 1700 by 2000 and has one that is my specific door. So you can put it here. Same thing for the window. So I'm going to put a window in. By default, it will give me an M6. I'm going to just pick that, whatever here. If I have something specific in mind that already exists there, I'll select that. If not, I will just put something in and edit it. So let's say I put this in. It's a fixed window. I go edit type. I duplicate it. I say, I don't know, let's say the window is 2.5 meters wide. And then I will give this to my properties here, and suddenly I'll get the window that I'm looking for. Okay, all clear? Are you guys all following anything that is too slow, too fast, or missing? Any questions? Yeah. 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 Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'll wait for you guys to catch up, and then in the meanwhile, ask me if you have any questions. Yep. I can have a look at that. I'll come over to look at it. Let me just. How can I pause it here? Oh, okay. Good. All right. Two 2,500. Okay. So a few other things that are useful in Revit is that you can use your arrow keys to move stuff in the screen. So let's say I've got my window selected and I'm just pushing up and down arrow keys. So when you're designing something, it's pretty helpful and easy tool to move stuff around. But also you have more accurate, now you can see the thicknesses here. I'm just gonna go turn off. Okay. You have more accurate moving and aligning tools here that you can use. So usually aligning is something that you will use a lot. So I will just click on the line. Where is your reference point? You will click that, and then where is the target? You will click on it. It will align it for you. So you can align any of the lines that you care about, and it's important just to have them as you want. Okay, there's another wall here that is a different width and is an interior wall. So I'm going to draw that and define it and give it a new type. So here I have my exterior wall. I'll go edit type again, duplicate it, say interior wall, and this time it's going to be a 200. And then I will define the structure here, structure edit. The thickness on my wall is 200. Okay, now the width is 200 too. Okay. Now I have the wall selected. It is starting from level 1. It is going all the way to level 2. And I am drawing a line on the finish exterior line. So here I will go, select that, and select this. And then I will have this, and I will continue this all the way to the wall. Now I have that wall selected there too. I just realized that it's not a very good color for this guy. I'm going to change this to a reddish color so that I see better here on the screen. Like that. Okay. And there's a door, which is a smaller door. So again, same thing. You go, you load a family that you want, or just select something that you have, and you put it in. With each item that you put in, it gives you some specific um, tools again to work with. So let's say this door, I want it to go in, not out. You have an arrow there to click and change this, and you want to mirror it. So again, another arrow, and as you see, this it is giving me some dimensions information, which is very useful. So it is 200. Let's say I really want it to be 300 away from the wall. So I'll just click on it, give it a different number, 400 or anything. It will do that for me. Now I'm going to go one level up. So the stairs here. In order to draw this stairs, it's very useful to have your both levels defined. So now I have the half level defined here and the ground level defined there, which you can see in any of your elevations. So here we have 1, 2, 25. So here we have level 1 at 0 and half level at 600. Back to my level 1. I would draw stairs here like that. So if you want to draw a stair, uh, you will just go there, click on the stair and start drawing. There's a second way of drawing the stair, which is stair by sketch. So if you want to do something more irregular, you will use this tool more probably. Uh, and I will show you how to. So for now, I'm just going to do their component, which is very easy. I'll just draw a line. It will estimate that if you want to do a stair from level 1 to half level, how many steps do I need, how many risers do I need, and it will just draw it for me like that. So it's coming from level 1 to half level, so base level is level 1, top level is half level, and then that's my stair. I can go and edit this here, send it all the way to there, like that. I can even make it a little bit shorter if I don't want it to be 2, and then move it to that. Okay, there you go. I got a stair, which I can again with AL, I can align it with that line. Pretty much looks like what I was looking for, but not exactly. So the way to fix this is again to select this and go to your type and give it different numbers for your risers, the height, the width, and all those details to get what you want. But maybe sometimes it's not just about a very normal stair like this. So that's when you use your stair by sketch tool. So let's say you want to do a more crazy kind of stair. So let's say that's that. This is going from level 1 to level 2. And I'm not really a big fan of those. So I want to do something a little bit more funky. So there, that should not work probably, but I'll just try it. I'll just do this. And then I have to extend all the lines to meet this guy. Okay. So multiple stencils like that. I'll go those, that, those, that. Again, I'll do multiple stems, do all these. You don't do that. The problem with this tool is that you have to have all the details correct in order for it to give you the accurate result. So it might be a little bit annoying to some extent, but this one, and then you say OK, and it will create that for you. Something a little bit done. I will go to a 3D view so that we can see it. So we go View, 3D view, there, that's there. So as soon as you go to your view and you create a 3D view here, it will show up in your project browser under 3D views. And if you have a username for a computer with your name, but now it's a single file, so it will just say 3D. So anytime I click on it, it will go back to this view. Just close this. I can go back to it anytime I want. I'll delete it there. Go back to my browser. So any questions? Yeah. 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 So two things that we usually do. One is that we have a, let's say we have a defined set of numbers for a service that we know is standard and works. So we have those defined, we trust those, and we just draw a survey and we adjust the rest of the time with it because we cannot say the logic is there and change that too much. But the other thing is that if you use the thereby sketching, basically everything is in your hand. So whatever you move or change, that will give it to you. So let's say I go there and I do the sketch, whatever line I draw and say, hey, the razor is running this much further from the other one, and say, okay, and do it. But usually in an office, they will use the other tool because it's going to be constructed, has to be standard, and it's not really something that we're going to miss. Okay, so far what we did is that we brought in our CAD drawings, we drew the exterior lines, we worked with the windows, worked with the door, we drew interior walls, we drew our floor plan, we drew stairs, and I think that was pretty easy. So we have a closet over here, and there are two ways to draw closets in Revit. One is to do a mask and just say, hey, that's a closet. But the most common way is to draw walls as they're going to come closet in your room. How do you build that? You build walls and you put a door in it. So that's how we do it in Revit. So let's say we want to build that wall, build that closet. Sorry, we select the wall. We say, okay, 200. That's good. I will select my lines. I will go around it. I will close the loop like that. And then I can go to my door type, load a family that gives me a sliding door that matches the closet or anything like that. So I can go to doors, see if there's any sliding ones here. I'm not sure if there is. Yeah, there's one. I'll just click that. Okay. Put that one in. This wall, again, I can change the direction and everything, and I can go to edit my type, change the width to, I don't know, 3 meters, and that will change. There's my closet. Okay, next step is to define your next floor, and here we have like a patio kind of thing in our building, so we're gonna give it a different floor type. So let's say we go floor, we want to draw that, so we go again, select line, we see what tab gives us. Yeah, that's pretty close. So just my mouse was hovering over here, I click tab, I click tab once, twice, see what it gives me, so that's good. I'll click that. You can lock these, which is very interesting. So the same project I told you guys, we have some lines that are based on the landscape drawing that the architect is giving us. So if I lock something on those lines, anytime they update the drawing, one of the lines is moving, my geometry needs to move accordingly with it, which is pretty cool. So you could lock those and put some constraints there, which will work for you in the future. But I don't need it now, so I won't do it. So I've got those. I don't need them. I will just extend and trim, and I will close that. So that's my floor, but it is defined on level 1. So if you go to your 3D view, you will see that it's not really working. So you have that selected, you go level, half level, it will bring it up like that. Any questions so far? Okay. That could be a good sign or a bad sign at the same time. Next one, we have this patio. Let's say that's made of, I don't know, grass or something, or it could be anything. So you can just draw it, say roof, say floor. You want it on your half level. Again, you can select your walls or your lines and draw a form around it, like that. And this time it just has a different material, so I will define my type to be a different thing. That's the only difference. So I've got my floor selected. I'll go here and see what I have. If I don't have it, I'll make it. So I'll go edit type. I'll duplicate it, say my indoor garden floor. And then I'll go edit my structure. I've got a structure, and on top of that, I want to insert one new layer. So I'll go insert, it will give that to me. I can define if I want it to go down or up, and then I can define what it actually is. So I'll go function, it could be a structure, it could be finished, could be anything. My material, I want it to be something, so I'll click on this little box over there. So I'll do it once again so you guys can see it. So here it says material. I click on that little box over there. It will open the material browser for me. Then in the search bar, I can type a grass, see if it has it. It doesn't. I'll type earth. It has earth. So I'll go with that. Click. Okay. And I'll define the thickness. It could be anything. So you guys, if you guys care about it, what it shows in the section, you'll define it as anything that you want. Or if it's just a look up it, you can give it a very, very small thing. I'll define it and it will show up like that. I'll go back to my preview to check it again. So it is there. It's not really showing up because I'm in a hidden line. So if, as soon as I change it to shaded, you will see the different materials that I'm using, the doors, walls, that kind of earthy kind of thing, all that. Okay, I assume no questions. Okay. So next thing, we can talk about again, continue talking about interior walls. So here I select my uh, previous wall and then start drawing this wall. So what is different on this wall is that I've got an opening in it which connects these two spaces. So, and that's happening over here. So what I have in a free view is just a closed wall that is going from my first floor to my second floor, and I'm looking to have an opening over there. As you can see over here, you can define shafts and vertical openings, but you can also select your wall and do wall opening. So if you have your wall selected, you will see your modify wall menu on the top here. Then you will do wall opening, and then you can just draw it. It's easier to do it in a floor plan, so I'll go there, select my wall, do wall opening, say from here to here, I want it to be open. That easy. Right there, and I can align it again, so that was a good thing. You should save your project. Okay, so that's aligned with my CAD drawing. Now I go to my preview, see what I have. That's the opening. There's a gap between the drawing. I'll show you how to fix it. So here, it was suggesting that because we have a 600 millimeter difference between the first floor and the half level, we need to have three steps up to make this happen. So if you make it 3 steps, like that, it will go 600 millimeters up. You will say OK, and then you will align your wall here. Now we don't have it, but we have a gap in the wall, which we can again give numbers or define or move around with arrow keys, with mouse and drag, with inputting numbers. So something else that is interesting is that sometimes you want to input some numbers and you don't know how to do it in Revit. And the way to get it done is to put a dimension somewhere, which gives you access to controlling that element. So let's say we want to move the distance between these two walls. So say, what is the distance between these two? So give me A, that's that. And then I'll select one of my walls there, and suddenly the dimensions turn blue. You will click on it, you'll give it a different number, and it will move your items or objects in your thing. You notice that the dimension was coming from center to center. That's default in some of the templates that you might use. By clicking on some of these points, you can easily change those, or you can define it differently at the start. So you will get the numbers one center dimension. So I think Stephen is going to cover that in the next tutorial, so I'm not going to talk about it now. What I'm going to do is, so we drew these floors. I'm going to extend this one to go all the way back there. I'm trying to select it. It gives me a hard time. So I know there should be a line there. I will go stop there and then start pressing tab. It will give me different options for selection. I will click that and say edit boundary. So now it will show me the boundary that I was working with at the beginning. So now I can continue sketching, move things around, and get it to do what I want it to do. So draw a line there, a line back there. I will extend things to there. I will do the same thing for that guy. Okay. I need one more line back here. Any movement that I see in the class, I think there's a question. Raise my hand so hardly and I see nothing. Okay. Now I've got an extended floor. Okay. By now you should know how to define different types for walls, floors, doors, and windows, how to place them in your model, how to define different levels, how to edit your objects and items in the Revit environment, how to draw stairs, and how to load families and how to edit them, duplicate them, and all those kind of things. Was it all clear? Do you guys have any questions? Anything that you think might happen later? And yeah, opening the ball. So in Revit, whatever you have selected, when you select it, will show you the modify tool on the top. And these are specific to each item or the things that you're drawing. So let's say if I have a floor selected, the tools it gives me is different from when I have a wall selected. So when you have your wall selected, it will give you a tool that is wall opening. So you can just select that and easily draw an opening in your wall. That is this little tiny thing here. And then you can edit this however you want. In plan view, sections, elevations, and 3D. And you can actually select a void and delete a void and have your solid concept. Yep. Sorry, can you just a bit louder? Oh, it's grayed out. I'll come to take a look and see why that's happening, but it should not be by that like that by default. Okay, so anything that we talked about to this point was all about straight walls. Anything that happened here was standard, so nothing too crazy, and it's nothing that you usually see in architecture school. So, but this is what you see out there in the architecture office. Um, but Revit has a lot of tools that you can do a little bit more designy and more curvatures and angles and triangles and folding forms and everything like that. I'm gonna cover that in the next um, section of the tutorial. I'm gonna stop the recording for now, and I'm gonna